Hi everyone, it's Suey. I decided to change it up a little bit and come down here to the book corner to do a couple of tags that I'm a little bit behind on. So the first one I'm doing right now is Shakespeare Journey tags, originally done by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and Nicole at A Day of Small Things. And I was tagged by Stuart Griffin. So I'm not sure I have a whole lot to say about my Shakespeare journey. I'm going to have a hard time saying that. Shakespeare journey. I don't know if I have a whole lot to say about it, but I thought I would come down here and grab what I do have Shakespeare-wise in my collection here and kind of talk about things as I show things, maybe. I don't know. There's quite a few prompts with this one, and I might skip a few of them because I just really don't have an answer, but let's just see how it goes here. What was your first experience reading Shakespeare and what was it like? So I think that my first time reading Shakespeare had to have been in like 9th grade. I can't remember if I did it earlier than that, but I do remember 9th grade and 10th grade for sure. And on through high school, I think we might have done a different play every year. I'm not exactly sure. And I loved it. I understood that the language was a little bit hard to wrap your brain around, but once I got in the groove of it, I really loved it. And doing it in school was great because we dissected it piece by piece by piece and explained it and talked about it, and it made me just really appreciate it. So that was my first experience. Has the reading of a Shakespeare play ever brought you to tears? What scene was it and where were you when it happened? This one I have no idea. I imagine that I might have gotten a little emotional over Romeo and Juliet because I'm sure I read that when I was probably about that same age as them. And I probably, knowing how I was back in junior high and high school, I was a pretty swoony person. I would swoon over everything. I'm probably still a little bit that way if you haven't figured out by now. Especially back in those angsty teenage days, I would just be swoony about all of it. So I'm pretty sure I loved Romeo and Juliet. I know it gets a little bit of a bad rap sometimes, especially in these modern times when we have to see things through our modern eyes, especially. But I didn't do that when I first read it, and I am sure I was a little emotional about Romeo and Juliet. I know that I get weepy every time I see West Side Story, which is a sort of modern day telling, not so modern anymore, of Romeo and Juliet, and that musical gets me every time. So, are there any people that have played a significant role in your Shakespeare journey? As I mentioned before, I would just say my teachers in junior high and high school. I don't know if there's any other particular person. I haven't really read it with anybody else, like a buddy read or a book club read or anything. It's just been in school. So I would say those high school teachers. Do you have a favorite book or film about Shakespeare? The first one that comes to mind is Much Ado About Nothing, which is a 1993 movie that has Kenneth Branagh in it and Emma Thompson.
But it is certain I am loved of all ladies, only you excepted, and I would I could find in my heart that I had not a hard heart, for truly I love none.
A dear happiness to women. They would else have been troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God and my cold blood I am of your humour for that. I had rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
God keep your ladyship still in that mind, so some gentleman or other shall scape a predestinate scratched face.
Scratching could not make it worse, and for such a face as yours were.
Well, you are a rare parrot teacher.
A bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
I loved that movie. It cracks me up. It's funny. It's hilarious. The acting is amazing. The story is great. I just really love that one. And I feel like I might have seen that one or one similar to it on the stage sometime, somewhere along the way, but I get them all mixed up. I don't know. But I do really enjoy that movie. Which character in Shakespeare most resembles you and why? And in what ways? I have no idea. You guys tell me. Which play would you most like to see performed in a theater and why? I don't have a preference on this one either. Any of them are fun. I have been to the Shakespeare Festival, which is a couple hours south of here, several times. The one time I was probably like 18 the first time, and then later on, a few years ago, we went again. So I've just been there a couple times, and they put on an amazing productions, and it's so much fun. And so I've seen several plays there already on stage. I just cannot remember which ones they were. Usually we see a tragedy and a comedy and a historical, maybe. I felt like that's what we did the first time anyway. What actor throughout history would you most like to have seen play Hamlet while in his prime? I feel like this one's hinting at the fact that there's some older actor who might have done a great Hamlet when he was younger. I can think of a lot of Korean actors that I would love to see do Hamlet. So most of you guys probably don't know the Korean actors, but there's a lot of Korean actors that I would love to do any Shakespeare thing, actually. They probably have done. That would be fun to look up and see who has done what Shakespeare. Deliver your favorite speech or soliloquy from a Shakespeare play. You want me to deliver a soliloquy right now? I don't think I'm gonna do that, but I was gonna grab this. This, I think, was from our 10th grade class. We have two of them because my husband and I went to the same high school, and we both have our copies. And I'm pretty sure I have, you know, the famous Hamlet soliloquy marked in here. Oh my gosh, I have it so marked up. I loved it, you guys, but where's the famous one? And I memorized it back in the day, but I don't have it memorized now. Isn't that the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow one? Isn't that the one from Hamlet? And I'm seeing lots of awesome passages as I flip, though.
Many minutes later.
It's not tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. It's to be or not to be. To be or not to be. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing them end them. To die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consumption devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. Now, I'm curious about the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Isn't that in Hamlet? Okay, I'm gonna go look it up, and then I will let you know.
There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
I spent way too much time on that one. Okay. Do any of Shakespeare's plays intimidate you? If yes, what play and why? Well, of course, they're all kind of intimidating, and those long historical ones are especially intimidating. So I guess I would say that, although they are kind of amazing in the end, those long ones, I don't know. What tips would you give to intimidated readers coming to Shakespeare for the first time? I would say read it out loud like I was just doing, and then you get the flow of it better. Or listen to it, listen to an audio one and have somebody, it has to be spoken. It's a play. These words have to be spoken. It's harder to just read it. So you need to say it or you need to listen to it. That's my tip about Shakespeare. Which is your favorite Shakespeare play and why? I don't know. I was going to look at this thing that I have. This box of Shakespeare. What do I even have? I'm curious. The Merchant of Venice, Hamlet, The Tempest, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, The Taming of the Shrew, Othello, Much Ado About Nothing, King Lear, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Richard III. That might have, Midsummer Night's Dream might have been the one I saw on the play once. Macbeth. I love Macbeth. That one's a crazy one with the witches, Boil, boil, toil, and trouble. Yes. And Romeo and Juliet is always a favorite, and Hamlet is always a favorite. I mean, I just love the ones that everybody else loves, just the popular ones. Julius Caesar. Oh my gosh, we really got into that one. The Ides of March has always ever been stuck in my head because of that play. And I think about it every time. So, and when we went to Rome, we went to the place where supposedly Julius Caesar was killed. That felt weird. I'm realizing I like Shakespeare more than I think I do. I should do some more Shakespeare stuff. I should read something. I should listen. I should watch some movies. You guys, I need some recommendations of some really great movies for Shakespeare, because as I said just a minute ago, I really am not familiar with that many. So that'd be fun. That's my Shakespeare tag, and I don't know who I'm going to tag. I didn't write down any people to tag for these tags I'm catching up on right now. So if you feel like you could answer some fun Shakespeare questions, then go for it. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.